Welcome to Dialogues from the President's Corner. I'm Rosemary Pliven, your host, along with Dr. Lawrence Zarda, president of Greensboro College. You know, at a small college, everyone wears a lot of hats. Meet Dr. Natasha Veale, Dean of the School of Social Sciences and Education, professor of special education program coordinator, and oh, by the way, mom to a GC honors student. Welcome to you.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Rosemary.
And she's not actually wearing a hat today in the studio. Make it difficult with the headphones. Let's go back in time a little bit. I want to know, when did you first know you wanted to teach or think you wanted to teach?
Oh, wow. Well, this may seem cliche, but I knew I wanted to be a teacher in kindergarten.
Mm.
So I entered kindergarten already able to read. And my teacher, Miss Fulliger, knew that and saw that, and she gave me the opportunity to sit in her lap in the rocking chair in the front of the class, and the students were on the carpet sitting crisscross applesauce. And as I'm looking down, reading to them, I thought, oh, wow, this is what I want to do. So from 5, I know it sounds, but I've always known that I wanted to be a teacher.
And you stayed that path? We never ventured off?
The entire way through, yes.
Wow, I love that. So how did you get from that rocking chair in kindergarten and the colorful rug to Greensboro College?
Well, I pursued education, but actually education of the deaf and hearing impaired was what I was initially interested in because of a wonderful sign language class in my high school in 11th grade. So I went to UNCG and earned that degree in education of deaf and hearing impaired. But the school for the deaf closed right before I was to graduate. So I had nowhere to work. But I had to go back to school to get another bachelor's degree in special education. So as an alternative licensure candidate, as an adult, after getting my first undergrad for special education, so I became a teacher, and I continued on and earned my master's degree in special ed and just kept going. And I realized I wanted to work with teachers and prepare teachers because, what I had been through and all that. And so I continued on and earned my doctorate in special ed leadership because, like I said, my focus was teaching teachers to become the best they could be for students with disabilities. And I started out as an adjunct instructor at UNCG in the special ed program that I earned my master's from. And then I started full-time at Salem College as a full-time professor. But the opportunity opened up here at Greensboro College to coordinate the special education programs. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. So, and I've been here ever since.
Well, and since you just went through your credentials, I do have to say that you were Dr. Veale. This is one of the few faculty we have who has 2 doctoral degrees.
Wow.
Yes, I also went on to get an EDD in organizational change and administration.
I mean, so not only a teacher, but a lifelong student as well.
Professional student, I think is what they say. Yes.
Well, it has served you well, that is for sure. So when did you first meet Dr. Veale?
August of 2014. When she interviewed for the full-time position. She various people on campus, met with the VP for Academic Affairs and myself, and that's when we first met. And frankly, I think it's fair to say that Dr. Blomgren at the time, still with the Education Department, Dr. Leslie, when he was VP for Academic Affairs, and it's like, once we met the candidates, like, oh, it's her.
Right. It had to be. It had to be. So what do you like best about working here?
The people. Since that very day and ever since I always felt like this was my second home, felt very welcoming, and I still feel that way. This is my 11th year now, and I still feel like I belong here because when I got here, the slogan was "You belong here," and I thought, well, here we are.
So I had the opportunity recently to write an endorsement for a book that you are working on. Could you tell us more about your book because it's really coming along?
Absolutely, absolutely. So like I said before, I was a special education teacher, and I've been here now for 11 years, but when the pandemic hit, I started listening to my teacher candidates who were saying that they did not want to continue teaching or they wanted to quit the program and things like that. And like I said, all of my years I've trained and prepared special ed teachers, but I never thought about asking their administrators how they felt about leading their special ed teachers, because for the teachers to start to be more verbal about wanting to quit, I thought, oh no, what can I do? Because I always like to try to find a solution for something. So I decided to do what I always do, just go back to school. But I went back to school for organizational change and administration because I wanted to get an understanding of what administrators understand and have to experience and go through, because all of my education has been about special education and training teachers, but not the admin side of it. So I did that, and I wanted to interview principals and talk to them directly to find out what their issues were. And I learned that they had not had these conversations about how they felt about their leadership towards special ed teachers. And they were relieved. The 12 I spoke with, because I spoke with principals across North Carolina, from the east to the west. And it was very, very eye-opening. And so with that research, I looked into their transformational leadership skills, their challenges and experiences and barriers that prevent them from leading their special ed teachers. And I wrote the dissertation on that. But then I was asked to write a book at a conference when I was presenting on that information. And I thought, well, wow. Okay, didn't plan that, but it was the best decision I've ever made because I was so excited to write it. And it's really a how-to. It's called How to Retain Special Education Teachers, a Transformational Leadership Guide for School Administrators. So it's a how-to for those building level administrators who secretly, silently say, I don't really know how to do this. And I talk directly to them and help them work through it within themselves first before they go and interact with the special ed teachers. And that is my hope, to retain special ed teachers and keep them in the classrooms, but through their building level administrators to work with them every day.
Can you give us a little preview? Like, what are some of the key takeaways on keeping those teachers in those positions?
Absolutely. So I created a framework, Transforming the Special Education Leadership Framework, and I used the transformational leadership behaviors. I decided to create a little acronym for it, MISC, MISS, like miscellaneous. But the M is for inspirational motivation, I is idealized influence, S is intellectual stimulation, and C is individual consideration. Those are the 4 transformational leadership behaviors. But what I do is I say, you want to motivate the special ed teachers, positively influence them, stimulate them with innovative practices, individually consider their needs. And I use the book to break down what the challenges were that the principal said and offer what they said they did well, and also give additional strategies to support them through those 4 different behavior attributes.
And I would add to what Natasha just said. I come from a family of teachers. I have a cousin who was a special ed teacher for a while. My mother was a special education aide. Obviously, I work in education, but some years ago, I was chairman of the school board in Northern Virginia. And to find and keep good special education teachers is one of the biggest challenges that public education has.
Absolutely.
It's so important. Well, we know that you're a wonderful teacher. We know that you're a fabulous student as well, but I know you have some other talents as well. I hear that you are a singer. I'm not going to ask you to sing, but I want to know.
Yeah, we practiced beforehand. We have a harmony thing we're going to do.
When did you discover that talent, and kind of how do you use it?
Oh, my goodness. So I actually didn't discover my own talent. My chorus teacher did. Her name was Statha Osborne. Hi, Miss Osborne, if you're watching. Because in 3rd grade, she would assign me solos and duets. And she actually had me performing at different elementary schools and middle schools across my county. Just flourished my singing abilities. I was on stage all the time in elementary school, and I continued on the love for singing through middle school and show choirs in high school and things like that, all the way into the Neo Black Society Gospel Choir at UCG. So I continued on singing, but all that stopped.
You're just telling me you're not going to, you just don't want to sing right here for us today. So
thank you for asking, though.
I love it. And I love how you keep going back to your teachers, and they are really the ones who pushed you and encouraged you and just recognized that spark in you that now you're recognizing in others and teaching others how to recognize it in students.
That is my pure motivation.
I love it. I love it.
Speaking of talents, and also you mentioned earlier college is like a family in ways. We know your family pretty well on campus. Why don't you brag a little bit on your family?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I have 3 children, 3 beautiful, young adults. My youngest daughter, Cameron, she's 16. She's a junior at Northwest High School. She's an honor student. Her GPA is like 3.9 or so. I'm so proud of her. Of course, she'll be coming here to GC next. My middle daughter Leah. She is here. She's a senior. She has also been on the Dean's List every single semester here at Greensboro College. She'll be graduating in May. Her major is psychology, and she double minors in sociologies and humanities. And she's also on the women's wrestling team. Yes, yes. And my son, Trajan, he graduated from here last year with the bachelor's in liberal studies with concentration in human development and family science. So I'm very proud of
Where
my
do your
children.
children get this academic talent?
I have no idea. None of them wanted to be teachers, though. I will say that. They did not want to follow those footsteps, but they're doing great things.
But you can still teach without being a teacher.
Absolutely.
And I suspect they will do a lot of that.
Absolutely.
So what advice do you have for students who are thinking about getting into teaching one day?
Oh, I'd say please do. We need them. The students need those teachers that one day can be referred to as far as the inspirations. They can think of their favorite teacher and how they made them feel. And one day they could be that inspiration for future students. So I say, please do, because our students need them.
Well, and we're so glad that you're the one leading so many of them. So thank you. Thank you for all you give to Greensboro College, for all you give to this community.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you here. And thank you for joining us, spending a little time with us. Be sure to subscribe to Greensboro College Dialogues from the President's Corner wherever you watch or listen, and learn more about all the good things happening at the college by following us on social media. Our handle's @Greensboro College. And of course, you can go online to greensboro.edu.